Welcome to the Servant Leaders Mindset, where we are transforming lives through servant leaders. Hey everyone, welcome to the show. I'm so excited to have Katie Brinkley on the podcast today. We've been trying to get together for months now, and I'm so happy to have you here. In case you haven't heard of her, Katie is the owner and founder of Next Step Social Communications. Next Step Social Communications is a social media agency based in Colorado. She has been helping small businesses, entrepreneurs, and real estate agents with their social media marketing for over 19 years. Very experienced. So Katie offers both done for you social media services and coaching, where she teaches entrepreneurs about social media marketing and how it can be used as an incredible tool. Katie also has a podcast called Rocky Mountain Marketing. Welcome to the show, Katie. So glad to have you.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me.
Yeah, I was just, I always like to start out. This is really an unusual kind of business that you have. It's very specialized. How did you start? How did you see this as a need
Yeah.
in market?
Well, I started with social media back, like you said, back in the days of MySpace. And it was definitely not a full-time job back then. It was always kind of an in addition to, and for me, it was free concert tickets. So I started by helping bands with their MySpace pages, and my payment was that I got a free ticket to their show when they came through Denver. And I mean, it was every, 21-year-old college graduate girl dream, get to go backstage with the band and hang out. And it was a blast. And I mean, but like I said, being a social media anything didn't exist back then. And I actually was fortunate enough to land my dream job right out of college, where I was the post game reporter for the Colorado Avalanche and the Denver Nuggets and the Denver Broncos. And I loved what I did. But there was this thing called SiriusXM that came out, and everyone in the radio industry panicked. And I was one of them. And I decided to take that time and move into marketing. And obviously, I you know, jumped the gun on it. Traditional radio is still alive and well to some regard. But yeah, so I moved into marketing and was doing traditional media marketing, media buys, script writing. And about 7.5 years ago, my position was eliminated, and I was devastated.
Mm,
And if it wasn't for that happening, though, I never would have started my social media agency. And now I can't imagine doing anything different.
excellent, excellent. Well, a blessing in disguise, right?
Yes.
So, can you give me, so many people have so much to say about social media, and over the years, it has changed so much. I would say within the past 5 years, it has really changed. Can you talk a little bit about some of the things that are trending in social media today that is different? Take me about 5 years back and then now today. How has it changed for businesses in terms of how businesses market their companies? How has it changed from 5 years ago to today?
Yeah, it's changed a lot. I mean, if you think about it, it was just kind of trying to create something. And now you have to have a face for your business. And that's changed a lot. I mean, gone are the days of, stock images and stock video and pretty Canva templates. Now we're using, high end video editing where we have to have a person be the face of our business. It's changed a lot, and it's definitely been quite the learning curve. But again, it's neat seeing how social media has evolved.
Yeah, very, very interesting. Why is the advice concerning social media so confusing? I've heard so many people give advice about how what social media strategy one should take. Some people say pick one platform, and particularly for small business owners that don't have a lot of staff or don't have dedicated staff to just focus on social media. So some people say just focus on one platform and where you think your people are and just go there. And then others say you need to be on several platforms. Which ones are the best platforms for your particular business, et cetera, et cetera. Why is the strategy so conflicting? Would you say that it's different for each? Should it be different for each type of business? Or is it basically the same for most businesses? And what would you advise as far as which platforms should a business choose to be on?
That is a great question. And I definitely think that with social media, man, they're all becoming more and more similar. Video first, having all these different, ways of creating the content. And I do believe that you can have a very strong and successful social media strategy by posting less and on fewer platforms. But
Mm,
the key is to having a strategy. And if you have the time to create, daily social media content, great for you and your business. But I know that for me, even though I'm a social media agency, I I'm a business owner first, and I didn't start this business so that I can play on social media and create content all day. So I think that you have to have a strategy with what you're doing on social media and know which platforms make the most sense for you and your brand.
yeah. I'm just, thinking too that when I go on social media, I don't, after a point, I think people, and this is just me, and I don't know if everybody's like me, but I don't want to see somebody's post every single day. It drives me nuts sometimes if the same person keeps showing up. And obviously, content is a strategy too. What
Yeah.
kind of content are you posting? If you're always posting, to me, and again, you tell me if I'm right because you are the expert in this. But if the content is like, oh, I'm doing this today, oh, I'm over here today, it's almost like people have continued to adopt the same strategy in terms of what I'm doing today, which was like the old Facebook, strategy. Um, that I think people don't understand that most people they're interested in that's one type of post, but all your posts should not be that way. Is that correct?
Yeah, and this is so I have a four-post strategy. It's called the awareness to action strategy. And this is designed so that you are posting less, but posting the way that your ideal clients, your ideal customers want to see your posts. They look for you when they haven't seen your posts, and you're really building out a community while you show up on social media. And you said something, that I think is really important is that all these platforms, they're all kind of becoming the same, but they're they don't have the same audience. They don't have the same culture. They have different ways of creating content. So if you are just copying and pasting a post across all the platforms, you're really missing the point. So you can show up less, use the algorithms in your favor, and really have that opportunity to grow a community when you know what the end goal is, not just for you, but for your ideal client as well.
Yeah, that's very, very interesting because that's what people have a tendency to do. It's the same post on all, and a lot of times people are following that person on all those different platforms, so they're just seeing the same thing over and over
Hmm.
again. And there probably needs to be a way of getting around that. Now, in terms of that, just sort of hanging out there in terms of social media strategy, small businesses, so how should they go about hiring a virtual assistant if they think they need some help? They don't want to spend their time working on social media or social media strategy. How should a small business go about hiring somebody to do virtual assistant work, and what are maybe some of the common mistakes people do? Okay, so they see an ad on social media. I'm a virtual assistant, right? What are some of the things that people should think about as a small business owner, entrepreneur, when hiring a virtual assistant? What kind of skills does that person need? Obviously, maybe they've done some social media work, but you know, what should the employer should be looking for?
So, with outsourcing your social media, you can hire a virtual assistant to do it, but it's really important to understand why what the end goal is. Is it just to make sure that you have a presence there, or are you actually trying to get leads? And it's two very different strategies. So, because a lot of, if you outsource it to a virtual assistant, they're just going to be creating something. And this is why you need to know, okay, this is what our end goal is. How are we going to take our audience along the journey to get there? And it's not just creating pretty graphics in Canva anymore, or uh, posting about how to links to your website. That's the old way of doing social media marketing, and now it's really important to know what the end goal is for you and your ideal client on social media, and having a strong understanding of how you guys are going to get there. You and your virtual assistant are going to get your audience there.
Okay. And so you talk about a couple things. One is you talk about building community, and a lot of times people, use that in terms of, but building community really means that you have this audience that's always checking in to get information from you. So the question then becomes, which are the best platforms to do that on? I understand that Facebook is kind of equipped for that. They are kind of like the head of the curve. But if your clients are on, let's say your clients are on LinkedIn, so how do you, a lot of people are asking, the question is, my clients are on LinkedIn, but you're telling me I should need to build a Facebook page because everybody's on Facebook. How do I
Mhm.
get my LinkedIn clients to come over to Facebook to participate in my community? So how do you, especially if you're on multiple platforms, how do
Yeah.
you merge that? How do you balance that?
Yeah, well, this is where, my strategy is a little bit different than kind of the what the mainstream is. I really don't think you need to be. If people say you're over on, oh, well, everyone's on Facebook. Well, do you have the time for it? Because posting on Facebook is a different culture. There's different ways to create. Oh, thumbs up. There's different ways to create posts. There's different ways to talk. There's different ways to engage, and it's different. And if you're like, look, I don't even really like LinkedIn, or I don't really like Instagram, I'll be honest, I don't like TikTok. So guess what? I'm not on it. Are there millions and millions of people on it? Do people go viral on it all the time? Do people grow their businesses all the time on TikTok? Yeah. But you know what? I know that for me, creating short form video is just something that's not in my wheelhouse to do consistently enough. I know that I don't want to just go down the rabbit hole and watch a bunch of 3-second videos. That's just not the way that I consume content. So there's going to be places where people will say, oh, well, you're missing out. You need to be over here. If you're finding that you have consistent engagement, you know that, hey, I already have a community over on LinkedIn, go all in on creating content for that community. The people over on Facebook will come to LinkedIn for you, or they will listen to your podcast to get more from you. There will be a way for you to grow your community for people that are on other platforms. And it's it shouldn't be expected of anybody, especially a business owner, a small business owner, to be on every single social media platform. If you're going all in on one and you're knocking it out of the park, people will be looking for you on that one platform and will look for your content.
Interesting. So you're advising for the small business owner to really find which platform works best for them and really use that one exclusively and spend and focus on that.
Yeah.
Okay, that's interesting. And in terms of what about going live, doing content going live?
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on um, doing that? How often should you go live? While you're doing your posting and within your social media mix.
Yeah. So, like in my book, The Social Shift, it's, with social media, we've really gotten away from what the original intent of social media was. It was designed for connecting and building community, and now it's turned into our own little media conglomerates in our back pocket, and you have, 0.8 seconds to get someone's attention. And it's like, golly, I just enjoyed connecting with people. And this is where the four post strategy really comes into play and is helpful, because you can post a variety of ways, the way that your ideal client consumes content, and build out your community. So, with the four post strategy, let's just, for example, we'll just say LinkedIn. Your first post is an awareness post, which is going to make people aware of the problem that you have a solution to, that we're going to talk about with the action post. So, maybe a LinkedIn poll is how you're going to start the week off, making people problem aware. The next post will be an elaboration post, which could be a LinkedIn article. Now you have the opportunity to really share more insights and your insights into this problem. So, positioning yourself as the thought leader, someone that they can know, like, and trust. This can be done through, like I said, a LinkedIn article, or hey, you could go live. You could do a LinkedIn live. You could do a LinkedIn live audio room, whatever floats your boat. This is your opportunity to really share your insights, and however you best do that, give it a try. If you've never gone live and you're a little nervous about it, do an article. If you writing a long form piece of content sounds terrible to you, but you have time to go live and have your phone and want to just talk into it, do a LinkedIn live audio room. The third post is going to be a community post saying how you overcame this problem, or how you helped a client overcome this problem. Sharing the you. This is my favorite post of the week, because it allows you to show your personality and really build out the know, like, and trust factor. And then lastly, the last post is an action post. This is where you actually ask people to leave social media to come and either with you, listen to your podcast, buy from you, whatever. This is how you do that. And I think that when you're incorporating the four post strategy, you can go live, you can have long form content. You're using all the different ways that each platform wants you to create content throughout the week. So you're helping them with their algorithm, you're helping yourself in the algorithm, and you're really talking to your audience on different ways that they can consume content. Like I said before, short form video, not for this girl really, but I know a lot of people like it. If I
Mhm.
only did, if it's people that only do reels, I'm not seeing and engaging with their content, because that's not how I learn and engage and consume the best.
Yeah, I think sometimes people use social media just to get attention, just to draw attention. They might dance, they might roller skate, and or do whatever. And I know they do those kinds of things on Instagram because it's more video driven. But
Hmm.
when you're talking about being a business owner and trying to draw attention to your business, I see a lot of times there's a lot of confusion about what you're trying to draw attention to. If you're trying to draw attention to yourself, well, dancing might work, right? But
Hmm.
if you're trying to draw attention to your business, the strategy has to be different. And it goes back to, you know let's talk about your book, The Social Shift.
Yeah.
What can people, if they buy your book, what can they expect? Can they expect to develop a strategy by reading that book? Because you do need a plan. When we say strategy, we're talking you need a plan, right?
Yeah.
And you need to say, I'm going to post this many times a week. I'm going to do this, the type of content. And then you need a content calendar. You need all of the tools that are involved content planning.
Yep.
So,
It and I so with the I just got a whole bunch of them delivered, so I have them right next to my desk. But the social shift, it talks about where we started with social media, not even just social media, before social media, how we've always craved to have connections beyond borders, and grow our community, and really how we've shifted away from that over the past 2 decades. And like it or not, I'm not going to go down this rabbit hole too much, but the next iteration of the internet is coming, and the next iteration of the internet is going to be decentralized. We're not going to be relying on algorithms, and we're not going to be building, our content on rented land. Like it or not, if Mark Zuckerberg changes his mind and doesn't want to post or doesn't want us to have access to Facebook anymore, he can, just like that, if he's
Mhm.
tired of it. And we lose everything. So if you've only been building on social media, you're playing, walking on very thin ice. So the social shift is about how to where we were, where we are now, and how to go back and be set up for the next iteration of the internet. And it's by using the 4 post strategy so that you're building a community of people that know, like, and trust you. They want to be a part of your circle and want to be a part of your community and want to tell all their friends about you. So I think that um, that's what I talk about in the book. And this 4 post strategy is designed to have you do your social media, a successful social media presence, with as little as 1 hour a week. And it shocked me when I found out that the average entrepreneur spends 11 hours a week on their social media. That's
That's
what
a
would
lot.
you do with 11 hours back of your week? Like, how much faster could your, or 10 hours back of your week because you're only spending one? But I mean, for crying out loud, like, what else could you be doing with your business? How many more sales calls could you do? What other type of lead gen could you? I mean, that's where the 4 post strategy is designed to help you get in, get out, build community, and be ready for whenever that next phase of the internet comes into play.
That's fascinating. And I wonder sometimes, though, in terms of generating leads from social media, a lot of times I think business owners, particularly small business owners, with the time factor, they
Hmm.
don't know how much content they should be actually posting, even in when you talk about Facebook communities or any kind of community that somebody builds, is when am I giving away the store? Am I giving away all this information that people won't eventually buy from me? So it's that balance that people have to walk. What is your advice as far as that's concerned?
Uh, you know, that was something that I was really kind of afraid of when I first, started with really growing my business on social media. I was like, oh, I can't tell them everything. But, I mean, I have a podcast, I have a YouTube channel, I have a weekly newsletter, I post to social media. Man, if somebody sees all that, they're signed up for everything, they are my biggest fan. They're my biggest fan. And, they're learning from me, they're growing from me, they're probably talking about me with their community. And that's fine. That means somebody's engaging with it, somebody's seeing it, somebody's learning from it. And for somebody to see all of the content I do and read it all, watch it all, listen to it all, and not buy from me, at least it's still getting seen. And I'd rather have big fans.
Hmm.
And, then the if I'm giving all this away for free, then just imagine what it's like to work with me and how I could change your business when I give you the actual strategy, not just the stuff I'm talking about high level, but actually say, okay, well, I think that look at just looking at your Instagram, you're missing A, B, and C. And those simple changes increase your growth and change things for you. So I think be be willing to share, give value, and if you do the 4 post strategy, you're giving value, you're sharing your you factor, and you are asking people to go one step further with you every week and without being spammy.
Wow, that's good advice. That's excellent advice. Um, I just have one more question for you. A couple more, just two more questions. One is your podcast. How are
Mhm.
you using your podcast? You said you have a YouTube channel. What kind of content are you posting on your channel? And how are you using your podcast to generate leads for your business?
Yeah, so I think that podcasting is a great way to build out your you factor, and especially in a world of social media where We have to be showing up. I mean, like I've said, this will be the third time now. Gone are the days of generic stock images and Canva graphics. We have to be showing up to show what our differentiator is. And this is, if you have a podcast, you have a content creation machine of different things that you can share and talk about every week. So my podcast, I do 2 episodes a week. Every Tuesday is a guest interview, and then every Thursday is a solo episode where I sit down and talk with sit down and talk with my audience about what's latest and greatest in the world of social media, different trends, different tactics, and different insights that I've come across. And the podcast is really it's a top 1% podcast globally, and I it's definitely been something that has been the most consistent thing in my business for the past 4 years. It's something I never miss. I do 2 episodes a week, and that's a lot, but it's it changes the way that people, you know, build their know, like, and trust factor with me.
Yeah, that's excellent. The other thing too, I think people need to understand when you start a podcast, you don't immediately get a following. It takes time.
Yeah, it does take time.
Some people
Yep,
think, oh, start a podcast, and then everybody, I'm going to get all this business. But this is the long game. Podcasts are the long game,
yep.
and social media is a long game. It's the long game, but it's about consistency as well as as you stated. The last thing I'd like to ask you is if somebody's interested in using you to help them build a social media strategy, how would they contact you? What's the best way to contact you and connect with you
Yeah,
and your community?
yeah. So I'm on social media. LinkedIn and Instagram are my two hangouts. And then, check me out at katiebrinkley.com if you're interested in getting the book, katiebrinkley.com/book. But would love to connect with you and answer any additional questions that you have, and you know, work with you on your social media strategy.
Excellent. Well, Katie, it's been a real pleasure. And I thank you so much for taking the time and stopping by and sharing your new book and sharing your social media strategies. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.